We have a collection of all our recipes in the cookbook object, and we're able to grab a shopping list of all our recipes. But there are more recipes than I'm going to make in a week, so I don't want to go shopping for all the recipes at once. Something that would make this much more useful is the ability to have a weekly meal plan. Then I could use the shopping list from that collection and actually purchase what I need. We used our breakfast tag to create a second collection object that pulled recipes based on tag. Since we want to choose the recipes from our meal plan, we need to be able to specify an individual recipe. We could select the recipe based on the title, but that can get long and be easy to mistype. It would be much easier if we could just specify an ID. Let's make that magic happen. I want to change the display of the recipe list, so we want to change this in the render class. Let's update the list recipes method so it shows the array key for that recipe as well. Implode only pulls the values from an array, so we'll need to loop through the array and use the value and the key. Asort does maintain the key association, so we can sort first. Then we need to initialize the output. Now we can use our for each loop. We use key, double arrow, and then our value, title. Now we can use the key and value for our recipe title. Because the title length may vary, I think it will look neater and be easier to read with the key in square brackets at the beginning of each line. So let's concatenate. We'll add key, and then title. Speaking of lines, I need to output a new line character, but I only want the new lines between each of the recipe titles, just like I had for the implode. I don't want the new line to be at the beginning or the end of our list. I can do that by adding a conditional. If our output is not equal to an empty string, then I want to add the new line character. Now I need to return the output. Let's go back to our cookbook and take a look at our list now. I'm going to comment out these shopping list lines. And then I'm going to echo, render, our list recipes, and then I'm going to pass it our cookbook with get recipe titles. Now let's run this file. It looks like it's separated by a quote instead of a new line character. Let's check that out. Now let's run this script again. Much easier. Now we see an alphabetized list of recipes with the key for the array at the beginning of each line. Now that I know that my Belgian waffle recipe is number 2, let's take a look at how to pull that recipe. Let's go back to our recipe collection. We're going to add a new method. We'll call this new method filter by ID. And we'll pass it the ID. Then we need to return this recipes with that ID. Let's go back to our cookbook and see how we would use that to display the Belgian waffle recipe. Let's comment out this line. Now we'll go back to our display. Instead of Belgian waffles, I'm going to use cookbook and then filter by ID, and we'll pass it the ID of 2. And let's uncomment this line. Then we can run our script. Great! Now we see our Belgian waffles by Alina Holligan. Now we can use this to add the recipes we want to our meal plan. First, let's display our recipe list again. I want to add 2 and 3 and 6 and 16. So let's create a week 1. And this will be a new recipe collection. We'll name this Meal Plan Week 1. Now we can add the recipes. We want item 2, item 3, item 6, and item 16. Now let's list those recipes. Week 1. Great. Now we see all 4 recipes. But let's display the shopping list. Let's view this in the browser again. Great! Now we have our shopping list of ingredients and we're ready to go shopping.